You see the Stranger Things release model has been released.
No.
Wow, get excited. We've got a release model.
Yeah, is it worrying?
No, I actually really like it because of people being on holiday for, like, they're not at work. Like, I don't know if you remember last time with the 2 parts, it was like, oh, take days off because you're watching 7 feature-length movies that day. There's a late November day, and then it's Christmas Day, New Year's Eve.
Late November?
Yeah.
Then you have to wait all the way till Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Don't understand that.
Really?
Pass.
Oh, see, I prefer that because it's then discussion. I would honestly rather them do a weekly release model.
Yeah, I'd be happy with a week to week.
Yeah.
Big gap, no.
No. I bet it depends. There could be interesting conversation in that gap.
I wasn't a big fan of the big gap in season 4.
Really?
Well, it was not like 7
and
episodes
2.
and then 2. That's the weirdest fucking model I've ever heard of.
And then I don't know about you, but then I had like some friends that had managed to binge it all. I watched it with like our entire family, so we had to like wait till everybody had finished work and like binge it through. And my dad got to one point, he was like, I need to go to bed. We were like, no, come on, there's 2 more episodes. Because then you're like, I have to stay off the internet, because some people will have like woken up at 5 a.m. and watched the entire thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I've never been that into anything, I don't think. Stranger Things.
we went to the cinema for Doctor Who.
Well, I mean, wake up early to watch something.
We'd be waking up
still
early.
there. I've been coming over earlier to do the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's like a barrier of like, I don't want to be waking up at 6 a.m. so I can watch a show.
Oh, fair. So, did you ever do the staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch like the HBO release for? So, do you know it releases in the US and then we get it? Game of Thrones?
Maybe I did.
Yeah, okay. I'm assuming just Game of Thrones.
It was just Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And well, sorry, it's not just Game of Thrones, because we used to stay up to watch Doctor Who.
Oh, we did.
Last year.
Yeah, when it released at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Twice.
Oh.
I won't wake up for anything.
Oh, sorry. Okay, but you'll stay up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Don't even know if this is true. Because Stranger Things, I actually think like when season 2 came out, I probably did wake up like earlier.
To watch it, yeah.
Just because I was excited.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, because I'd like planned it. I was like, get up at 6
Yeah.
a.m.
My alarms are
Episode
set.
1, episode 2, breakfast.
Your breakfast is pre-made, so you're just like running into the kitchen, then back down.
Where are my Eggos? Where are my Eggos?
Jesus Christ. Welcome back to Plot to Go. Episode number 23. 23 Owen. Crazy.
Wow.
This week, I'm Jack.
I'm Owen.
This week, I'm Jack.
This week, I'm Jack.
Who knows what I'll be next week? This week, we are talking about Lilo and Stitch, the live-action remake of a classic Disney movie. Also, we are talking about The Last of Us. We have not spoken about The Last of Us in any capacity, which is bizarre. So we're going to do a whole season recap review of that. And if you've been following along, and I don't know how many weeks, the last 8 weeks, we've been talking about Doctor Who. It's finally ended. We have thoughts. I have physical notes.
I don't have notes.
You enjoyed it that much, so it's just all up here.
Yeah. I'm sure I could rant about my enjoyment.
Yeah, of course. Big spoiler warning for The Last of Us and Doctor Who. We normally spoil TV, but I think specifically with Doctor Who, there's massive things that could be spoiled. And also with The Last of Us, I don't know if you agree with this, but I might end up spoiling the game because I want to talk about where this next season will go.
I think that's fine. It has been 5 years since that game came out.
So just fair warning that there's spoilers there. But something that doesn't have spoilers, Owen. Lilo and Stitch.
It does.
Yeah. Non-spoiler and a spoiler for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's some spoiler things that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Cool, that's fine.
Lilo and Stitch, if you didn't know... So, how old is it at this point? Like 2 decades old?
Yeah, you say that like it's ancient. It came out in 2002.
That... relatively.
You call it a classic as well.
I would say it's classic.
A modern classic.
Yeah. Like him on the Little Mermaid, the Aladdins,
Aladdin, yes. When did Little Mermaid come out?
1990.
Was that also that recent?
They were the 90s. That was like the Disney peak, the like renaissance of.
It is,
Disney.
yeah. I just thought, I honestly didn't. Or I thought Little Mermaid was older than that. That's all.
I don't think this movie is considered in that renaissance, but I think
not,
it's
I
the
don't think.
tail end of it.
Yeah, it's before all the 3D animation.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, what was? Are there many 2D ones after this?
I don't think so. This is sort of included in that because it was a point in time where the animation styles were allowed to be different, and they were experimenting a lot. And so this is one of those times.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not in that decade bracket. I don't know when it starts and ends.
Yeah, neither. Interesting though, because I think with the release of this, people are retroactively going back and going, "Oh, that was a banger." But if you don't know the story of Lilo and Stitch, it is about a Hawaiian family, a Hawaiian girl named Lilo and her sister Nani, who end up adopting a little furry fuzzball alien called Stitch. There we go.
And that's the non-spoiler review.
And that, congrats, we did it. Owen, your thoughts on this wonderful live-action remake?
I really didn't like this.
Oh, really didn't?
Yeah, I really didn't like this.
Okay.
There wasn't a point in this that I enjoyed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not that we normally do ratings, but like on a rating scale out of 5, what would you have this at?
Why not out of 10?
If you want out of 10.
Like a 4?
Okay. Fair.
3?
Really? 2
It's
1.
not good.
No, it's not.
Uh,
Do you know it was originally made for Disney Plus?
okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
With the way it looks.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the stuff I found most like entertaining or interesting are the things that I find like most offensive about this film.
Oh, interesting.
Or just like is it a spoiler to say that this film is different from?
I don't think so.
It makes actual different choices, which isn't common in live action remakes for a lot of films. Like Lion King, for example, is a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
I think the Jungle Books are pretty much the same sort of thing. Most of the time they don't divert from like, let's say, the overall message of a film or like character decisions and things. They're more constrained in what they do.
Yes, like major plot points are kept. Yeah.
This film is not that. And actually, like that's where I was most engaged, was the decisions that they made.
Yeah.
Not that I liked them.
Sure.
Aside from that, I was just kind of bored. Because actually one of the sections that is pretty much one for one, I actually was annoyed at this viewing from the get-go a little bit, because not that it matters, because I've seen the cartoon Lilo and Stitch literally a month ago. I got into the cinema, normally I'm like on time, because you know what I'm like, but I got in, it was somewhere between 10-15 minutes after the start of the showing, and the film had started.
Oh,
There wasn't adverts.
yeah.
Or there had been for like only 10 minutes instead of like 30. So when I got in, it was like the Stitch in the spaceship flying around the big spaceship. So it was like just the start. All of that, even though I haven't watched the original in a month, I could tell that it was cut so much faster than the original. Like it was just like, scene, like shot, just to get through it all. We never sat with anything for a minute.
Yeah.
And that just annoyed the shit out of me.
Picking up on that, that's like my biggest gripe, I think, with the movie. Other stuff changes, kind of what you were alluding to, but this is edited so poorly. The first third of this movie, it's actually surprising. I think you missed maybe 5 to 10 minutes of the movie. Maybe more,
Probably
like 5.
Yeah.
The amount of story that they burrow through, it is edited like a TikTok edit.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that it's edited at the start to appease an audience whose brains have been rotted by TikTok, because either that or they have expected you to watch the original so you can fill in gaps, because you're like, oh, I'm aware that this happens, so we need to just like run through this story to get to like the main stuff. But the introduction of Stitch as a character and the introduction of Lilo, it's just edited completely so choppy, because they're just trying to like pace all the way through it until they're together. And there's like it's the scene in the original where Stitch gets like taken down into this prison cell, and then he uses his like saliva to like break out because the guns are like pointed on his DNA.
Yeah, he spends a minute like working that out.
There's like yes, so it's like a solid minute. There's a guy in there. I'm forgetting the captain's name. Captain Gantu.
That's it. Yeah.
He like comes in, has a whole speech with Stitch, leaves. Then there's a guard there. As you say, it's like he drips his saliva and then notices that the guns follow him, and then he's like piecing it together. All of that is done in like 10 seconds. He goes in, the guns are like that, he like drips his saliva, the guy turns his back and he just fires it and he's immediately out. And you're like, well, but that's not satisfying if you're just watching this as a movie. With the prior context that I know that what happened, but that didn't happen in this movie. It really bumped me from the start.
Like that.
Yeah.
And even though that is like a minor thing, it just speaks
Well,
to like the whole film is like that.
Yeah.
The characters in this film are just different too.
As in,
spoil that. Just like they're just not who they are in the originals, like completely.
do you mean Lilo and Stitch?
Sorry. I think they're fine.
Yes. Yeah.
All of the surrounding characters are different. Even like Pleakley, I think, isn't the one that wants to has the whole like mosquito storyline, which is like this really funny part.
Yes.
And integral to like the end of the film as well. That they just chop.
But they still mention it.
It still comes up.
Yep.
But like really briefly.
But it's weird to go because in the original, like Pleakley wants to visit Earth because he's an expert on mosquitoes and on Earth people. That is a line in the start of this movie. Then it's never brought up again. In the original, you have a scene where a really funny comedic bit where Pleakley's like going to bed and a mosquito lands on him and he's like, oh, like thank God we saved you, and then like tons of mosquitoes attack him and it's like funny, and then obviously the ending all of this because that's I think one of the issues with this being like a shot for shot but also not a shot for shot is that they include things. But if you omit other stuff, why have you included some stuff? Because it's never like fulfilled.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just bizarre to me. I think that the whole opening as well is pretty much like a 1-for-1.
I think so, but much quicker and noticeably quicker.
And omitting certain people from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought. I know you're a big CGI stickler, man.
Yeah.
I thought for the most part the CGI on Stitch was actually pretty good. I liked the character model.
Yep. He was the best one.
Yeah. I thought the CGI on Bleakley and Jumbo was terrifying to the point that I went with Samuel and we were kind of talking a little bit before the movie like, oh, it's kind of weird that, in the trailers and stuff, they've made Pleakley and Jumbo just take on these human forms. It like omits the comedy of them just like putting on a wig and nobody realizing that they're aliens. When we left, Samuel was like, thank fuck they made them humans because I couldn't bear to look at them any longer. They look disgusting.
I saw Stoops talking about this.
Oh, really?
And I think she said grotesque. I think that was the word that she used to describe them. Which makes them scary, and that wasn't like the point of them originally. They were supposed to be like these cute-ish kind of friendly aliens, and they're not for reasons.
I guess CGI and budget is probably a reason, but like, I think taking away the fact that they dress up and they're hiding in plain sight strips all of the comedy from their characters, just having them as humans.
Yep. I think it was also Stoops that had said like, obviously that's one of those things that works in cartoons but doesn't work in like live action.
Yeah.
Which I actually don't agree with, because the Scooby-Doo movies did it. They had Scooby-Doo. My brain
went there as well.
Yeah, they had Scooby-Doo dress up.
Yeah.
In like a woman's outfit, and it works in those films. And maybe it's like they just nailed the tone in those films, and they are early 2000s as well.
Yeah.
So maybe like not the same nowadays, because I feel like we just can't match those films. You watch a film nowadays that feels like an early 2000s film, and you're just like, what is
stop.
that? Yeah. So maybe it can't be done, but like it has been done, which means that there's a possibility. There is a world where Pleakley could have been our drag queen.
Why Pleakley doesn't ever get a bob in this movie is so tragic to me. That, to me, is just one of the funniest, silliest jokes in the original. Is that he sticks on a bob and then, like, it awakens something in him. When he's going to sleep, he, like, pulls the bob back out under his sleeping bag and sticks it on. Shit, like, that's really funny. When you have, like, Billy Magnuson and Zach Galifianakis, who I didn't recognize.
Yeah, it looks quite different in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have them bumbling about, it's not funny. Trying to think of the other non-spoilery stuff.
I don't know if there's much to say outside. We spoke about editing. I don't think the film looks that nice.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, outside of the CG, I think you're right. I think it does feel more like a shot for a streaming service movie.
Like a TV
Yeah.
show.
Which is weird because I feel like the original animated movies show off the beauty of Hawaii and Hawaiian culture. Circle back to that on fucking spoiler talk. Spoiler talk?
Welcome to Spoiler Talk.
This just omits. It's also, this movie's just missing the heart of the original.
Yeah, it
completely.
feels a little soulless.
Yep. And I think spoilery stuff shows that the people who made this movie didn't really understand what made the original so special, because the things that they change are detrimental to this heart kind of stuff. There's something specifically that they changed that I was like, you've kind of what you were saying, fundamentally misunderstanding characters. I actually do think they misunderstand Stitch as a character.
Okay.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Who are the other characters you think that they don't understand? Just Jumbo and Pleakley.
Nani as well.
Nani, okay. Yeah. Spoiler. Yeah. What did you think of the performances as a whole?
They were there.
Even, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Ish.
I agree. I actually think Lilo, she was a good child actor.
Yeah.
I think perhaps some of the emotional moments in the original are delivered a little better. But
What, in this?
no, in the original. Okay. In the original, God, no. But I do wonder if part of that is also the writing in this, because I think that they undercut a lot of heartfelt moments with comedy, kind of going back to it doesn't have the heart of the original. Just curious, because I was speaking a little bit to a friend about this. Would you have preferred this be a shot-for-shot recreation?
Can I just say I'd prefer not to have existed?
Well, yeah, whole caveat over this entire thing. This shouldn't have been made. I presume you agree.
Yeah, just to be clear as well, like, I don't want to support these.
No, yeah.
So, like, when these come out in future, I'm probably not going to see them. I want to see this one because I like Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, fucking missed out on Snow White over here.
Yeah, don't need to be seeing that. What's the next thing they're remaking?
They don't have
I'm not planning on seeing How to Train Your Dragon. I don't think.
You're not.
No.
Well, we'll circle back to that because that fucks up one of the schedule.
Epic. I don't want to be like supporting these at all.
No, I know. Well, I'm not to be this person. Like everybody's dollar counts and whatever. This had the biggest Memorial Day weekend in history.
Great.
So like,
Good for stupid people.
I think you'll do okay with your not actually paying for it with your card. Yeah, that also was crazy to me that this made as much money as it did. It's the thing is, leaving the cinema as well, I think we were in quite a dead cinema, honestly. But the people who were there were like, yeah, that was fun. Like, I really enjoyed that.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
like,
Yeah.
if you actually paid attention to what you were watching, it's bad. But I think you're reliving the feelings that you probably got from the original.
Well, mine was kids.
Oh.
So, like, they were having a whale of a time. So, actually, like, it was, like, kind of nice hearing people enjoy the film. But didn't bring up my own enjoyment of the film.
It's really annoying as well because I think it's all well and good for us to be like, but the original's there, like, just go watch that. It's not the same experience as, like, taking a kid to see something in a cinema.
Yeah.
Great if you want to re-release these. I honestly think they should do that because now, I was just trying to think from, like, a child's perspective or, like, a parent's perspective. If you go on Disney Plus when this gets released, do you go to this before you go to the cartoon?
That's insane.
Like, I don't know why I would watch this over the original, but then for maybe kids and parents that's different. And I'm trying to think, I don't know if you have any off the top of your head, like these remakes that you would go to, but the ones that I think of that I would want to rewatch are not recreations of stuff. So I'd sit down and I'd watch Maleficent.
I don't want to watch any of them.
But, like, that to me at least is you're telling a completely original story that's like a character from something. That do your own story with that, and it's not,
Is
you
that
know,
good?
Maleficent.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it in the cinema when I was a kid. I did enjoy it.
I watched it as a kid. I didn't enjoy it.
Interesting.
So
I was just like Angelina Jolie with those cheekbones. Come on now.
yeah, that's fine because that's not live action remake. That's like a spin-off.
Yeah.
Or a retelling or something. I guess that's almost a remake.
Yeah, because I think of Cruella, which everybody fucking loves. I think that's awful. Really, really, really bad. Because it misunderstands what made that character interesting in the first place. So then, why are you watching that? This whole thing's just like, why? Money.
Make new stuff.
Yeah, but... Also, I am really disappointed. I don't know if it ever came up on the podcast, but I was a little bit excited for this because I really like the director, Dean Fletcher Camp.
Yeah.
Who made Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Yeah, I don't know if it's like corporate overhead or whatever, but
surely
I'm so disappointed.
It must be. Like, it's going to be one of those things where that's not on him.
Yeah, because I full on sobbed over a shell. Like, the heart that's in those movies, none of it's here.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but maybe a great segue into spoilers. So spoiler warning for Lilo and Stitch, the changes that they make. If I'm being honest, if you're, like, just listen to this. Like, don't go see it, just listen to this.
I'll back that.
Yeah.
So what the fuck was the Gantu cut all about? Like...
they could not find a way to make it work.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then completely demolished Jumba's character because of it.
Yeah.
Like,
it makes no sense.
That man was like a father figure of sorts. Like, he cared for Stitch and things. And then he just turns into a villain.
Yeah.
Also, like, performances from the Pleakley and Jumba. Not good.
Yeah, Pleakley is so... I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, he's camp.
Was he not just supposed to be stupid?
But it came across as stupid, yeah. Crazy.
And then Jumbo was like boring until he was a villain.
Yep.
What are these characters?
Yeah. Pale imitations of, like, the characters prior.
Yeah, like a complete misunderstanding of who they should be.
Yeah.
Or not even misunderstanding, because I know they made the decisions because they had reasons or whatever. But it obviously didn't work.
Yeah, no, totally. I just don't understand as well the decision that was like... I think I saw Dean Fletcher Camp talk about this. Like, when we decided to cut Gantu, we were like, oh, Jumba's right there. That's a villain that we can get an into that story with him becoming a villain. At what point in the original does that come across? He is like this evil, like, megalomaniac, like, evil scientist. But he's not, like, evil. Like, he, over the course of the film, he has a character arc that's omitted from this. Like many character arcs.
I saw them just not talking about giving him an accent as well.
Oh, I saw this as well.
So he just seems like a dude in the film.
Yep.
It's like some random, just a dude.
Yeah. You don't get any of the... I'm thinking of the montage in the original where him and Pleakley are like spying on them and all this like slapsticky shit happens to them that's really funny, and because they're aliens they look so out of place. Like not all of that is just missing. And this movie is 20 minutes longer than the original. Do you know that?
It doesn't feel
I know.
like there's enough substance.
It feels like there's stuff that's cut, so...
Yeah.
It's how?
Yeah. Also, like, Pleakley and Jumbo are just like... So they're just not on the film at some point, and then they're back.
Yeah.
Just to be villains. Or devil... What is Pleakley shows up and is like, Jumbo bad now.
Yeah. It's been a little while since I saw this. I literally don't even know what happens to Pleakley. I think it is just Jumbo bad.
Mm. Oh, I forgot. Also, like, Mr. Bubbles is a completely different character.
The switch from like not having him be the social worker is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, again, another beat of like comedy that's taken out that turns into heart. Mm-hmm. His whole backstory of being a CIA agent or is it FBI? FBI?
I don't even think they highlight it in the original, which is better.
No, they do at the end because the queen, the councilwoman, she comes down and she's like, "Oh, I remember you.
Yeah, but
you had hair."
Does he say the organization as well?
I think so,
right,
because then when I think they turn up, I think it's FBI. I was like, "Oh, we're just jumping straight to him being an FBI agent." Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sweet that he like retires from that and just becomes like a social worker.
And also, it's fundamental to the ending because he's like, I was the person that tricked them into thinking mosquitoes were an endangered species. Yeah. They're really good with contracts. Fucking give her your contract. Why is none of that here?
Like the whole like, is it like bureaucracy, you'd say? Like, is like an integral part of like how the aliens function.
Yeah.
In the original, it's just gone.
What and why? I don't understand the change that was made. It didn't make the story any better. Like, bizarre. Absolutely bizarre choice.
Yeah.
Speaking of bizarre choices, Nani. This to me is the like cardinal sin that this film did.
Yeah. Ohana means family. That's not realistic. Stop it.
Ohana means family, except when health insurance is involved.
Ohana means family, except when I want to study, Lilo.
Oh.
Have you seen people talking about like she went away to do like marine biology at university?
I have saw
but
this.
Like she could have done that on the island,
which has one of the best marine biology programs.
Yeah.
She has to go in mainland though, Owen, because America needs her money. The absolute capitalist American propaganda that this movie turns into is insane. This essentially this is a kids movie, and you know I think what Disney of old was good at was packaging like quite hard to tell stories for children, like really digestible ways, to the point that when I first saw Lilo and Stitch, I don't know if you felt the same way or something. I wasn't really thinking about Lilo losing her parents and the orphan, the struggles that Nani would be going through. But having watched the original right before this, you can actually view it like as an adult, like Nani's a really interesting character, and it works on both fronts. Here they go like, let's include fart jokes because kids like shit like that now. Oh, and also we need something for the adults. Why don't we talk about the hard hitting realities of Nani being unemployed, so they don't have health insurance, and that she actually has to give her kid up to the state if she wants to survive. What?
Yeah, I can't believe it got to that point. It's such a weird fucking thing. I appreciate the idea of like she doesn't understand, she doesn't fully embrace Ohana means family or whatever, and then right at the end, like I think Lilo shouts and she goes and gets Stitch and stuff like that. That was cool. Like that was like the interesting thing that kind of like hooked me in or whatever. But like we never had to get there. Like her rejecting Ohana means family just feels wrong.
It feels wrong, and also I think it's like it's so ingrained in like Hawaiian culture that it feels really wrong to be like, this Hawaiian woman is rejecting the thing that's like integral to their culture. That feels weird coming from like non-Hawaiian people making this movie.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? It feels very strange. Also, it feels really strange at the end to be like, go off, go away, abandon your family because that's what your parents wanted. And I get the introduce that neighbor character to be like, it's still Ohana, like...
Yeah, that's obviously... Yeah, that's why they've done it, is to, like, keep Lilo within, like a kind of, like, found family or whatever. But it's just not... It's not right. That's not what the message of the original was.
I don't know if you feel this way as well, but I feel like they didn't actually want to commit to that. I feel like there's some part of people that were like, this is wrong, because... Is it a post-credit or is it still in the... No, it's still in the movie. She's stolen a portal gun so that even though she's away in America or mainland or whatever studying, she can just visit Lilo whenever.
So there's no consequences to it. Honestly, I didn't even like recognize that fact at the time because my brain was so switched off to the film at that point.
Yeah. It is one of these weird things though that like that original is quite a hard message, and Nani makes a decision at the end of that movie that, you know, in a different film, in a hard-hitting drama, you would maybe like dig into the fact that, yeah, she's gonna stay and she's gonna choose to like look after her sister, who is her family, but she is giving up maybe her aspirations or something in dealing because of the like cards that she's been dealt. Interesting, but like here, like they view her staying as a bad thing, like, oh no, you have to go away and get educated because I don't know why. Like your parents wanted you to. You want to.
Yeah, it's very much feeding into like the education system.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
It's really important that you go do this thing. There's no other way to live your life. Ohana, it doesn't matter. Go get educated.
The new message of Lilo and Stitch.
The new message is get in debt to student loans.
Yep. Nani, you have to give Lilo up. You can't afford health insurance. I can't believe that was a line. Anyway. America, love it.
The byline to this film is quite funny on Letterboxd.
What
It
is it?
says, hold on to your coconuts.
Love it. That's so funny.
That's the best part of this film.
It makes me so sad that this made money. I'm like, Snow White didn't make money. We just needed this to also tank. Because now they'll like, oh, we pumped the brakes on remakes, but this Lilo and Stitch did well.
Have they pumped the brakes on remakes?
There was an announcement after Snow White that they were rethinking. I wonder, and this is sad, Snow White is has a legacy at Disney. Maybe some people weren't. There's so many reasons why people didn't turn up for Snow White. But maybe one of the reasons internally that they'll be looking at that is, people don't really have nostalgia for Snow White because all those people are like 90 or 100 at this point.
So they're going to go, let's do the 90s movies.
Let's do like really modern, recent ones. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, more of that. We're going to end up getting a fucking Big Hero 6 remake or something.
Oh.
You heard it here first. Swear to God.
I mean, Tangled has been discussed. That is the one that interests me, though. Like, the single one that interests me.
Why?
I don't know why. Don't know.
I don't want to see that.
I honestly... I am of the camp that none of these should be made. But they made money, so... Yay!
Let's just take down Disney. How do we do that?
What was the last original movie they made? Oh... their original movies haven't been great. I think the last original animated one was Strange World.
You can include Pixar in there.
No, I completely separate them.
It's Disney Pixar.
But Pixar haven't made like... Pixar are an animation studio only making...
Yeah, but Disney own them.
But I feel like Disney and Pixar are different things.
Sure, like Disney animation is different from Disney's Pixar animation, but all of that's still Disney.
I separate them.
Well, I'm not doing that.
Well, yeah, there's a huge like gap of quality between the two studios.
Sure. That doesn't mean they're not both Disney.
But one's Pixar. One is like
One's recognizable in itself, but post like the first two films, it was under Disney.
yeah, but they still have like their own oversight, like as a company. It's just that they answer to Disney. I separate them, but I see your.
Yeah, because like Marvel and Star Wars are still Disney as well.
You would not call them Disney products, though.
I mean, Star Wars is very much a Disney product.
Yeah,
now.
but you're
It's
not
so
saying
Marvel,
my favorite
to be
Disney
honest.
movie is The Last Jedi.
That's true. No, that's very true.
Cool. Okay, glad we got that sorted. Anyway, oh, I realize I'm going to be negative this entire episode. I apologize. I don't know about
Yeah,
you.
I'm shocked at that because I'm definitely not about this next thing.
Ooh, I definitely am.
Right.
The Last of Us.
Yeah, I thought I might have to defend this show.
Okay. Good for you for defending it. I don't know if The Last of Us is The Last of Us. It's based on the video game series by Naughty Dog. It follows this season 2 follows Ellie and Joel a few years after Joel makes the decision that Ellie should be saved and a cure should not be made for humanity. And it's following like half of the second game. For anybody that doesn't know. I guess, full spoilers for this. I guess then...
Is it even half?
It's not. It's not half,
Yeah.
but half-ish, I guess. You want to start with your thoughts then?
I really enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I genuinely, yeah, I did. It never had like me enough that I wanted to like necessarily wanted to sit down and watch it, but every time I was watching an episode, I was having a good time. Good time. I was entertained.
Sure.
There was some, I think, very good episodes, like episode 2.
I think episode 2 is great as well.
Episode 6 as well, I think.
Yeah.
Guess it's just spoiler talk. So the Joel episode.
Yeah.
And the episode where Joel kicks the bucket.
Yeah.
Were very good. It does meander, but these kind of shows do anyway. Like, they're a lot slower. Specifically, like, apocalypse kind of shows, but, like, The Last of Us has always been like that. Season 1 is, the first game is. Notably, the second game kind of... It is overarching, but when you're in it, it doesn't feel like that. And I think that's maybe where this show departs from the second game a lot.
Curious. I feel like Ellie's does feel like that. Ellie's story specifically in the second game is a more meandering thing. And then you get to a point, you get to the halfway point, and then Abby's is really intense and full on.
I think Ellie's is meandering for day 1. And then it isn't, from what I remember.
Yeah. More,
it's
but
more
more like this
meandery.
show. Like, it didn't feel, this season didn't feel more meandering than
In the game.
her part in the
No, I
game.
would say it does.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because the less action.
Yeah, I think I'm wondering if this is where your complaint's going to come from. So day 1 in the game has these like slightly open world bit. I was talking to Samuel about this, which is like it's a really fun part of the game where you just get to exploring by yourself.
Huge as well.
Yeah, like have you ever played the Uncharted Lost Legacy?
Yes.
Yeah, just like the same thing.
Yeah.
I think what might be missing from this series is the fact that Ellie doesn't do a lot of killing that you see in the game. You end up slaughtering people for the whole time that you're playing as Ellie in the game. And you don't really see that in the show because it's a show and there's not honestly enough time for that unless you give it more episodes or whatever. I don't know if this show necessarily needs that for this part of the game. But there was characters introduced that I thought were, and I really liked the Gale character, the therapist.
Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, I think that like actually fleshed out the story, like the humanity of things that were going on back in Jackson.
Yeah.
And also the wolf leader, played by, what's his name from Westworld?
Bernard.
His name's Bernard.
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, who we love.
Yeah. What if?
And I think he's in. I think he voices the wolf leader in the game.
Yeah.
But you see him once, twice in the game. He's such an underutilized character.
Yeah.
Where in this, like, he provides like an insight to what's going on behind the scenes there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a really great scene in one of the episodes, just randomly, where he's interrogating one of the whatever the people are called.
The wolves?
No, the scars.
Oh, uh-huh.
And he's going to interrogate him. He turns around to get the hot pot. He turns back and the guy's hand's already out. Excellent scene.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters do feel slightly like different, and I think this is where your complaints are going to come from. So I want to hear them.
Okay, I've been reviewing personally each episode of the season, and I have enjoyed it vaguely. I've been like from like a 6 to like an 8 if I was to give it like numerical. Like I've vaguely enjoyed the show for most of the episodes, but I've had a ringing complaint. I think from episode 3 onwards, where it'd be like, really enjoyed the show, performance is great, blah 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 blah. However, to me, Ellie feels different, and that is not a bad thing. I don't want one for one adaptations, whatever. If you're gonna do something different, I find that really fascinating. So this entire time, I'd be like, she's different, but I'm interested to see where this is going. But the fundamental root of what she's doing in like this season is revenge. The whole of part 2 is this like allegory for revenge and like cyclical nature of violence and all this shit. So like her characters in the game is so intrinsically tied to the themes, and it's kind of important for her character to remain that way in some regard if you want to like explore the same themes that the game does. Maybe the show doesn't. I'm still open to it being a slightly different story, but that's by the by. And when I'd mentioned these things about Ellie, there was some really interesting comments of people being like, I feel the same way, but I think that there's going to be like a breaking point, or she's going to flip at this point, or when she meets Nora, it's going to trigger something. They've tried to like just flesh out her character in a different way, and I just think her character doesn't work now that it's concluded. This part, at least, I think she's horrendously written in this season. I think they misunderstand completely what makes her her.
You didn't feel like she wanted revenge?
No, no, and I think that's quite clear. Like from episode, say 3, 4, 5. I don't know if you've seen these edits on TikTok as well. People are like, they'll show a clip from the game, and it's like her and Dina being like, "Oh, we're planning out a route," and like it's all serious and that. And in this one, it's like, "Hey," and then people have put like sitcom like laugh tracks behind it. She's like, yeah, I'm just triangulating the the location. Does that use triangles? Like the way that they have made her a shell of her character is so fascinating to me. They've character assassinated her in like this horrible way. She is like, in the start I was enjoying it because they focused more on her love with Dina. They were like trying to flesh out that relationship a little bit. And what I think is really interesting is that, to me, the one thing that is better in this than the game, few things I like Gale, like a few inclusions are better, but like direct comparisons, Dina is better in the show, I think. Like, undoubtedly.
More of a character.
She's more of a character. But interestingly, I think that they have looked at Ellie as a character in the game, because you are playing as Ellie, and kind of these side characters don't need to be as fleshed out as much because you're not playing as them, you're not spending as much time with them. They've looked at Ellie and went, how can we divide her characteristics up between her and Dina? And Dina has taken this more like vengeful, aggressive, competent like person. there's a great scene, I think, in episode 4 or 5 where like she talks about her like how she survived in her family and like when Outbreak Day happened or whatever. And then she's like, this is why we need to get Abby. Like, she's really vengeful in that moment. And Ellie's weirdly like, oh, I'm sorry. Like really like aloof and like jokey about it. It's really bizarre to me. Anyway, you get to the point that when she kills Nora, and I just thought it felt like like she was putting on something, that the vengefulness came out of nowhere. And then she makes it back to the theater. And again, she resorts back to this more like docile persona. Like, she's less aggressive. She is more at ease. It's just really bizarre to me. And interestingly, Craig Mazin was on on the Last of Us podcast or something, talking about why they made changes to Ellie's character. And to me, and I felt this now is I felt it in the episodes, but I really feel it now that season's completed. He called her not competent, and I think that's just really misunderstanding who she is from the games. And even if this wasn't like I played the games and there was a direct comparison, I don't believe that this character is on this mission to get revenge. There's the moment where they're in the park and they're getting hunted down by the Seraphites, and there's that like crossroads moment where she can either go with Dina and Jesse. Dina, who's like just told her that she's having a baby, and they had that whole scene where she's like, I'm gonna be a dad, and like it was all like fun and stuff. Or she can go and find Nora. She makes the decision to go find Nora, and when I was watching it, I genuinely just felt you're doing that to hit the plot point that the game's hitting, and not because I feel like this Ellie is actively making that decision. I just really did not vibe with her character at all.
Funny, I never felt like that. I never felt like she didn't want revenge, and I don't think I found her as jokey as you did. I generally have found her still quite apathetic. Maybe not as much as in the game, but she does feel quite closed off, and I feel like there was a point where she gets bit, and it's from that point onwards where I think she does become like that kind of like more jokey character where she kind of opens up to Dina and things. But I don't think she was like that before, and I did believe when she kind of got angry with Nora, it did feel real to me. What I will say is I think there was parts missing before that, which the actual like slaughtering of other people is where we should have seen that sort of like side of her, that vengeful side of her before that scene to get us. And I don't mean in that episode, I just mean scattered out throughout the episodes, because you don't get to see, I think, much of someone wanting to be vengeful when it's just two people talking all the time. There was a lot of exploring for about 2 episodes in there, I think, where it was just her and Dina talking a lot.
But you could have... So, on the one hand, I agree with you. That's a way to communicate that to an audience, is like have her kill other people. I think that does work better in a video game because, I don't know, like killing people is a
100%.
mechanic in a video game.
Yeah. You'd have to figure out a way to make that interesting for the viewer.
But also, like, you know, in the game you can like kill 20 people and it's like whatever. If she in an episode kills like 20 people, suddenly you're like, fucking hell, like she's insane. You swing the other way.
That's the point. It's how you should be feeling about that character.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But
sorry.
Go ahead.
I also think there is a night and day where you can see how Ellie's progressed as a character when you see episode 6.
Yeah, so much right. I agree. In episode 6, I think Bella Ramsey. By the way, this is no hate towards them because I think that they do really well with what they're given. I think specifically in episode 2, they're phenomenal. And then in scattered about scenes, I really enjoy them. But like episode 6 specifically, I think they nail who young Ellie is. They like just fundamentally understand that character. And I think there is an interesting progression in that episode. But I still... The jump from when Joel is killed to then where Ellie ends up in this time jump is not satisfying. For me.
Where Joel is killed.
Joel's killed, she has that time jump, and then she resorts like the scene where is it Dina's made cookies or something and she comes over and she's like, I'm gonna tell you, like, I know where Abby is and stuff.
Yeah.
She's pissed in that scene.
Yep.
That from that point onward, I don't think we see that again till like Nora, and I think it just sucks. It doesn't feel real to me, at least.
It feels real to me because I don't know if someone can like actually sustain that visibly to another person all the time.
But she does in the games. Like, do you know what's interesting?
I actually don't think she does.
But I think they flipped like the ratio, I guess. So like in the games, me personally, I think she's vengeful a lot of the time, cold, shut off. There isn't a lot of dialogue between her and Dina a lot of the time because I think she is in her own head, like seeking revenge and stuff. And then there's these moments of levity and love that like break through, and then she falls back down to this like vengeful character. I think here they flipped it where she does feel like there's more like in love, like lighter character, and then she slips into these moments of revenge, but that doesn't work for me. I just think interestingly as well, they like for a female character, they have scrubbed her clean of like the griminess that makes Ellie interesting to be a more palatable character.
What do you mean by griminess?
Like she's more like serrated in the games, like,
yeah.
And in this it feels very like glossed over. And I don't know if that's like do people have issues with Ellie being that way in the games? I just remember all that hate being directed towards Abby, but like
I don't think so, because there was still a love for the character from season 1. I think the character is definitely more glossy.
Yeah.
In some way. I think to your point of like they don't speak much in the games, I do feel like they speak loads, but I think when you are playing the games, like literally they don't speak as much because so much of the time in the game you're spent doing all the actiony stuff, and you obviously don't get dialogue in those points. You're doing important shit.
Yeah. I don't know. That honestly, that's the main issue I had with the show is her as a character. Sadly,
I thought Jesse felt different to me as well. He felt really regimented in a way that Jesse didn't feel in the game for me too. And I don't know how I feel about Abby as well right now.
Interesting.
Does not feel like Abby to me.
Oh, that's interesting.
And we've seen her in like 3 scenes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think that first scene that we see her is awful, with her and all her friends just stood around graves. Really bad scene.
In what regard? Gosh,
I don't think it's performed well
from her,
from anyone.
Wow.
And I don't think it was necessary, because I think it undercuts the following 2 episodes.
Yes, yeah.
And then what we get her in another scene, I think she was better. Sorry, she's way better by the time you have her in the cabin. That feels more like Abby stuff going on. There's still like, I think for Abby, you don't see a lot of her like weakness in the games. She puts on such a front, and I'm not getting that from this version of Abby.
Gosh. I disagree a lot with that.
No, I very much feel like she feels far more like openly broken than she does in the games.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree
She's
with
very
that.
not Abby.
But I think that... Interesting. I get what you're saying. I enjoy that decision change. Having her be slightly more vulnerable. But she's... to me, I really like Caitlin Denver in this. I personally think that she gives a phenomenal performance whenever she's on screen. I thought the cabin scene's brilliant. I thought the ending we'll get to it. I
Do you mean in the show?
hate the finale, but I
little
thought
moment.
Abby was so good. The best part of that finale.
In it was one scene,
One scene,
but
but I was like, oh, you're
I
Abby.
I believed that
Yeah.
Abby. Yes.
And it's so fun because having played the games, you know all the shit that she's went through for 3 days to get to that point. And we're not privy to that. She hasn't shot any of that, but it still feels like she's went through that, if that makes sense. I wonder if you feel that way about this like vulnerability of her, because we get introduced to her earlier.
I was about to say, like, I am criticizing. She's not had time to build that up.
Yes.
I do think she still has that by the time you get to the cabin and things. But it's just very obvious in that opening scene that she's very upset. Which she obviously would be, but
Yeah.
we never get to see Abby that early on in the... Or do we? I think we do get like a small flashback.
We get to her dad.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when we cut from the scene that we end on with the gun,
Oh,
you
that's
immediately go to her dad and her walking through the park.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up in the stadium.
Yep.
But God, no, I thought her performance was incredible, and I'm really looking forward to see what she does, because I just thought even though she's not in it a lot, I think they handled her character better than they did Ellie's in this, which is easy to say because she's in a few scenes. I do think it's interesting though that they decide to cast her. This thing of like scrubbing female characters of like serratedness and like feeling a little different. I'm not somebody that's a stickler for like you have to have comic accurate shit or like whatever. It is a very weird choice to not cast a like physically imposing woman.
Yeah, because she's like jacked in
Yes.
In the first Last of Us, in part 2, the original game that this is based on, and that actually matters as the game goes on.
Yeah.
And it also it speaks to the point that I'm trying to make of like she doesn't want to show any vulnerability, and so like in her mind that is like
Physically
imposing.
imposing.
In a couple of different ways, and one of them is like be physically imposing. So it's interesting that they made that choice.
Which, so kind of what you were saying, I think the reason that they've changed it maybe slightly is because she doesn't have that physical like component to her. So maybe they are trying to make her slightly more vulnerable. I personally didn't feel that way in the cabin, and then at the end there, I think the only scene I felt that in was the opening scene.
I think I felt it in episode 2. Definitely not in that closing scene.
Yeah.
That felt like Abby.
I really liked the way that they changed that as well. They changed.
How did they change it?
So she like really beats him with the golf club, and this is just the.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the closing scene there.
Oh no, that's the same.
Yeah.
That's like shot for shot.
Yeah, I thought it was.
No. Can you imagine not playing the games and that's where the show ends? By the way, if they do a season 3 and season 4, people sitting down for season 3, I'm ready. Oh, it's an Abby story. Cool. Season 3 ends on the same moment. You're cutting me off.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I'm not gonna be happy.
Yay! Discourse is back.
It's already here. I've not been keeping up with any Last of Us news.
A lot of people have. Oh yeah, because you kind of like binged it. People have been unhappy with Ellie as a character.
Excellent.
But I agree with them. So, oh no. I did want to speak. Episode 2 I thought was great. Honestly, I was really enjoying the season at the start. I kind of thought we were going to get more about Jackson. I thought that's how they were going to structure the show. We were going to like go between Jackson and Ellie and Dina, but we didn't. And then you brought up Jesse. Honestly, I thought that's why we were going to go back to Jackson. We were going to see Jesse and Tommy a little. And the fact that we don't, and then Jesse's killed in the last episode, I just think he feels like a nothing character. I don't know if you felt this way, but...
I don't, because I feel like we got enough of him earlier on.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like Tommy was more ignored than Jesse was.
Oh, I mean, Tommy, we still haven't seen him.
You still haven't seen Tommy?
Yeah, he was only in episode 2.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm sure, though, in the game, though, you haven't seen him at this point.
Do you not? Do you not find him sniping them from somewhere in the game? Like, is he on a bridge or something?
Possibly.
And they isn't that what they were trying to do in that last episode? Just there was trying to find where those gunshots were coming.
Oh,
from. So do you not successfully find him? Does that come after?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah, I want to speak about episode 7 and then episode 6 and then 7 because it's a short season. I liked episode 6. I presume you're in the same boat.
Yeah, of course.
I'm of the opinion that I think that episode came too early. I just think Joel dying and then immediately having all of the flashbacks and also the porch scene, which I think they've ruined.
Yeah, 100% they've ruined the porch scene.
Which fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's a great scene. And like, I was, watching it, I'm like, this is a good episode of TV, I'm really enjoying this. But I know where that scene is structured in the games.
Yeah, it doesn't belong where it does in the show.
Oh, and no, it's the fact that it hit for me watching it. I don't know if you felt the same. But when you play the game, it's like a controller down moment.
Kind of broke me when I was playing the game. Yeah. That like straight away, I think, when I saw him sitting on the porch and like, is that episode 1 or something? She walks past him the first time.
Yes.
I think I knew at some point in this season we were going to get that, and I wasn't happy about it then. I wasn't sure if we were just going to get it straight up there.
Yeah.
So at least they saved it to the second last episode of the season. They just obviously couldn't save it for 2 seasons because no one's going to remember.
Joel.
No one's going to remember that at that point.
Oh, you're right. It's so far removed.
Yeah, 2 years at least.
But I still think if you've done a well enough character study of Ellie to then get that moment, which I still think could have worked. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it cheapened Joel's death a little bit, having a Joel episode so quickly after.
Yeah, it's like a month.
Yeah. Okay. And the last episode, I just thought was abysmal. I'm shocked you're as high on the show as you are.
I mean, what even happens in the last episode? Jess
so much.
There's like the stuff on the island. The stuff on the island is weird.
Okay, yeah.
Because like the scene in itself is like kind of cool with the scars or what they are called.
Seraphites. You're using the slur, but
oh, actually,
I think so.
Let's call them. Amazing. The Seraphites with Mother. That scene in itself is like cool. I think we get something like that in the game. I was trying to remember if we did, but the fact that we just crash there, get up and leave is really odd. And I that's going to tie in with the next season.
Yeah, of course.
So like it's kind of fine, but I think I'm assuming the thing that upset you the most is like kind of like structuring of this last episode where shit just like happens.
The pacing.
Yeah.
She gets up on that like roof, whatever, and they're looking across. And she's like, whale, aquarium, Jesse, I've got to go. And he's like, no, don't. She's like, I need you. One, I don't believe her at this point wanting to do that, which kind of plays into it. But then, in the space of like 5 minutes, she's like, I'm gonna steal a boat, and then on the island, and I'm about to get hung, and then I'm on the boat again. Oh, massive wave, and then she gets onto the aquarium. Oh no, where is she? There's 2 people here. What am I gonna do? And then it's like, slow down. I'm gonna gun them. Put your hands up. And then Owen's like, oh, well, bam. Kills them both with one shot. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then Jessie just comes. They're like, oh, back to the theatre. Abby's on her way. Are you kidding me on? 10 minutes? Max for that entire thing. Unbelievable.
I think this season was too short.
Absolutely.
I think it should have been 10 episodes.
Yes, that last episode could have been 4. I'm really fucking upset as well with the Owen scene. The part of the whole like Ellie's not competent kind of thing it looks like she like, oh, I accidentally shot the gun, and then it's like, oh, I killed somebody. Oh no. Girl, you're on a mission to kill somebody. You just did it last episode as well, like, or two ago.
I mean, she's upset because she killed a woman that's pregnant.
Yeah, but it's, I get that, but it's her reaction like right after shooting the gun of the like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. What?
I think she was. I'm assuming she was shocked because she was in a scenario where she didn't want to just kill people straight away. She was after Abby.
Yes.
So like the way that the situation ended was not the one that she was hoping for, and that's why she reacts like that.
Yeah. Okay, I just felt like goofy to me. I don't know.
I never had goofy vibes when I was watching this show. I think my problem, like with the finale, isn't the finale itself. It's more just like how the show has been, where it's just kind of, it just came to an end really quick.
Yeah. I did like the scene with Mel. Who's like Kai, and she's like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I like that. Also, just to say, I'm like kind of negative on this show. It's the stuff surrounding like character decisions and writing, production value, incredible, performances, wonderful. Like all of this is great. I would actually rate this maybe like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like I still enjoyed it as a season. I just think it's fundamentally flawed.
Okay. Fair enough.
I just have like wacky, goofy sounds in my head. Like,
I think it's just. I think it's just missing stuff.
Yeah, and it sucks. I think as well, it's that whole thing when something's being remade. You can't help but like compare it to something that was really good.
Yeah, I think the problem is also like the format. Like some media doesn't need to be translated because it can't be translated.
I saw a few people talk about this. Like this is like a perfect example of like video game media being important.
Yeah, I think that was people's problem with like the finale of last season was like Joel in the hospital.
Yes,
that you just can't match what happened in the game.
But a similar thing is like this finale. With that finale, it's the issues people have with that, where like that scene is hours long, and it is a montage in the show. Similarly here, I mean, it's hours of gameplay that you burrow through in 10 minutes.
Yeah, getting across Seattle in the game would take so
long. Yeah.
I actually was quite interested by what they were doing with a lot of the cordyceps in this show.
Ooh, yeah.
By having the stalkers be like they're actually verbalizing what they're thinking about them, because they just show up in Last of Us 2 and then they're a villain you have to deal with. Whereas in this they were like, we have smart ones now, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then them actually having the spores for like the original cordyceps has been left alone and it's decided to like evolve into producing spores. Is just very cool.
Love how that played into the Nora scene as well.
Yeah.
Where she thinks she's like killed them both.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. There is stuff to enjoy. It's not completely bad. Pedro Pascal is like one of the best actors we have, genuinely. Like, see when he came back for that flashback episode, as much as I was like, this happened too early, the amount that he can just emote with his bloody eyes is one of these, I feel like actors every now and again will be like the it actor where they're in everything and like people are like, oh, I'm sick and tired of whoever it is. Put him in everything. I think he's so good.
I think he's in the perfect amount right now. I don't need him in.
Well, yeah. Or like he's in a sufficient amount, and that is a lot. But like, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
He's like properly different in like everything he's in.
Yeah.
He's never just phoning it in and playing the same role.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Get ready for Reed Richards.
Looking forward to it.
So am I actually. Really looking forward
Seeing
to it.
him playing like the smart man on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
He's not done that yet.
Numbers.
He's not like a more like gruff dude.
Yeah.
Or like.
Oh, and I'm so excited for Materialists. Pump that in my veins. I cannot believe that is coming out in a few weeks in the States, and we have to wait until August.
Oh dear. Gonna pirate it then?
No. I want to see that in the cinema.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it and just tell you all the spoilers.
No. Speaking of spoilers. Let's spoil Doctor Who.
That was a nice segue.
Unless you had more Last of Us shit.
Not really.
Oh, spoilers! I should have just done that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I kind of thought that's what you were going for.
Fuck. I'm off.
We'll start this with the fact that it was my birthday recently, and so you surprised me with me and all my friends watching The Day of the Doctor yesterday, and then we went to the cinema to watch Wishworld and the Reality War. There was a noticeable difference in quality.
Shock. Shock horror.
When we were watching The Day of the Doctor, like it was before a barbecue at my friend's house, and so we were watching Doctor Who, and new people would come in that didn't know us and would see us watching Doctor Who, and then like kind of have to sit and watch it with us, and it was like the funniest thing. But it was interesting seeing like it capture a room because they'd come in at a very like dramatic point in the show where it like built to like this sort of climactic scenes and things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the new episodes could have done the same thing to a group of random people.
I think people would have got 5 minutes into this and went, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Anyway, so we went to see Wishworld Reality War Cinema.
By the way, I was dragged. Like, I organized this, but I swear I was so miserable
Yeah,
that
you
I
didn't
had to
leave the party.
rewatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad we went, though. I'm
Me
so
too.
glad that we went.
Can I say, I still like enjoyed myself with watching the last episode. Like,
Yes.
I was bored.
Oh, it was episode 7 that was dire.
Yeah, I was bored with
Yeah.
Wishworld when we were watching the Reality War. I was having fun.
Yeah.
And then even when there was the weird, wacky writing that didn't make sense, or like I'm like, why are you making those decisions? I was still like enjoying myself until probably like a lot. Like there were points where I was like, what the fuck are we doing now?
Yeah.
But when it was all them kind of getting the band back together, I enjoyed all that stuff.
Of course you did.
Yeah, well, why would I not? Maybe we're all your children.
We need to activate the chips that we put in everybody's necks, and then they're like, oh.
Oh man.
Where do we even start with this
I
shit?
don't know. So Wishworld ends with reality.
My daughter is real.
Yeah, but it ends with the world falling into the underverse, and the Doctor is falling with it.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
So they recap this very briefly at the start. Did you
hear
laugh?
Did you hear me laughing at it? Yeah. I couldn't. I was like, what kind of fucking recap is that?
It was
didn't-
insane.
Because it proves our point of like the last episode not being
Yep.
worth like have any substance, because the recap was the last 2 minutes of the last episode.
It was just 2 scenes. It was the fucking Rani doing a button.
Yeah.
Him falling. My daughter is real. We're into the episode.
Oh man, right, yeah. So yeah, they're falling into the underverse. The Doctor shares the thing of like his daughter being real, and then suddenly we're in this episode, and he gets saved by Anita.
Yeah.
From the Time Hotel, which I absolutely love. That I love that as like
So
a
did
mechanic
I.
with the just, and it.
Hello, TVA.
I think it breaks Doctor Who a bit.
It does.
Because like the whole point is like the time machine's like powerful, and then if you have the Time Lord's TARDIS, which is like this crazy feat of engineering, and you have the Time Vortex, which is cheap and nasty time travel.
Yep.
Where it's like literally it's burning up stars or something. It's like it's bad for the environment or whatever.
And that's what the Rani had in this.
No,
So what was that?
just another
Another
I
time
think it was
bracelet?
another like Gallifreyan time travel thing.
Okay.
It was like a bracelet. So yeah, the time doors just seem like OP.
Yeah.
That's better than TARDIS, surely.
Yes. She can go to anywhere.
That's not better than TARDIS.
Anywhere,
Because
anytime.
So can he.
Oh, yeah.
But he can transport the actual thing, whereas that building exists in a time period.
No, it is better because she could open up the sky.
You could do it in TARDIS. You just park the TARDIS in the
Oh,
sky.
I guess in the sky because it floats. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be
I was like,
something.
he drives it.
Yeah, all that stuff was really fun.
Yeah, she was best part of the episode, I think.
Yeah.
Her comedy hit in the cinema as well.
Yeah.
dead silence for the previous episode, and then went into this, and it was like, oh, there's laughs.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they did all the build up, a unit coming together and all that stuff, and then the Doctor gets to the Bone Palace. I don't remember what happens in between that.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So honestly, all of the stuff that's in between that is like shit that does annoy me, but I can't even verbalize it because there's that much goofy writing and
in between
this
the
happens
unit
because
getting
this.
together and him going to the Bone Palace.
Yeah, like how they're awakening Omega and why the doubts have stopped and all of this is like disregarded and whatever.
But anyway, they awaken Omega.
Yeah. And who's Omega, Owen? A big old bad CGI baby.
Disney money, baby.
I don't know. So obviously you kind of informed me about Omega.
Yeah.
I saw an image of him last week and stuff. I was like, are they gonna, if they're gonna cast him, are they gonna have the big goofy head thing that he has? And somehow it was worse than that.
Yeah, I found it funny, like, they did the same thing they did with Sutek, where they're like, we're just gonna make him into like this big CGI monster. And at least in this episode, the Doctor goes like, oh, he's become like a myth of what he was. Like became the own story of like Omega. But yeah, it's just like unnecessary. It undercuts the Rani because he just like kills the Rani immediately. And then you have a Rani and she leaves, which is like a kind of funny moment, and it leaves it open to like her still being around or whatever. And then you just get rid of Omega. So you've built all of this up.
Yep.
So whether you're new or a classic fan, that moment sucks.
Yep.
Because you're like, oh, who's this Omega character? It's there for 2 seconds. You're a classic fan. You know who the Omega character is. And then he's gone, and he wasn't who you thought he was because it's completely just not the same character.
Same with the Rani. Like literally
same with the Rani as
exact
well.
same thing.
Yeah, the Rani being written like the Master, like just not interesting at all.
And you said, did you say that yesterday? You were like, it's written like the Master, but like you were interested to see where it would go, but she doesn't get anything in this episode.
Yeah, she doesn't get anything in this episode. Yeah, you're right.
So she gets that one like dancing scene. That's it.
Yeah, because she's supposed to be like interested in science and stuff and like engineering and thing, and like think of doing weird stuff in terms of like biological engineering things. And I don't think she did she's none of that. There's nothing.
She flies to Italy to get some ham though.
The other one does, right?
No, that was the Rani.
She goes to Italy to get ham.
Yeah.
Is that what? Whatever.
Yeah, remember, go make a sandwich.
Epic. Well, great show. Yeah, they do that. They obviously defeat Conrad, and then
Actually, I did like that. If you've been keeping up with the reviews, I weirdly liked Ruby Sunday in this episode.
I like
She's given the most agency.
Yeah, I like the tiny Easter egg of the the teleporter she was using. It was Martha's one.
Oh.
It's the same. It was the Indigo project.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Somehow kind of worse in this episode.
RTD not over his original run. Allegations are getting stronger.
That's a smart way of doing it, and in terms of hang on, it's a teleporter.
Sorry,
device.
wait. Yes, it is way smarter than any of the other things that he's introduced.
It's a smart way of doing it instead of doing like here's a new character, but I'm following the same formula as I did in my last run. So yeah, just having like brands and things that exist in the world, it's a smart way of making your universe feel cohesive when it really doesn't.
Sure, yeah, totally.
Yeah, we defeat Conrad and then they wish away the wishes, and then that's where the show gets interesting in the decisions that it makes.
Yeah. So at that point, it was Ruby grabs the baby, and she said like, "No more Conrad world."
Yeah, she wishes Conrad to be happy, and then she tries to wish everything back to normal.
Oh, everything back to normal. And then later is when we get the Doctor saying no more wishes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when they know that they're going to do the no more wishes, so prior to all this happening, they put Belinda and Poppy in the cage.
Shit, is this where
this is where you lose it.
Belinda. My queen. The best part of this show, I cannot believe how poorly she was written. The allegations that Stephen Moffat gets about writing poor female characters. Hello, RTD, you can take that spot. So I was thinking about this because I honestly was so fucking confused by this episode as well. But it renders the entirety of the season that we have spent with her completely useless. Mm-hmm. Because when we've seen her adventures, we've seen a character of Belinda that does not exist anymore. Because she has become a mother of a child that was wished into existence. And at the end of this episode, we get like flashbacks to this new reality where she's been on the journey with the Doctor, and the reason she wants to get home is she just wants to see her kid again. I think there's a way that you can write a female character that's like really strong and independent and capable, and also make them a mother. Actually, interestingly, have any of the companions been parents?
Not whilst they've been on the TARDIS. Anyway.
Or like Amy, but like.
Oh,
not,
sorry. Yeah.
But then that's River. Like. Oh yeah, wait. They do go on a journey when they have a kid.
Then the kid gets taken away.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not really addressed. There's like interesting story there, but they disregard her character, who they built up throughout half the season because she was ignored in the back half. Mm-hmm. They disregard her, she was ignored in the back half because Story in the Engine is a Doctor story, really. Mm. Interstellar's Song Contest, kinda. Then last two episodes, no. Fuck. That's mad. They disregard all of that to make her mother character. Like, that is her only attribute. And I think it is detrimental. I think that in itself is bad writing, especially when it comes to a female character. But also to then go, all of the flashbacks we see of this new reality is only her talking about her child. Like, that is her sole personality at that point.
I don't think that it's fair to say that just because of the flashbacks, because that was just recontextualizing why she wanted to get back.
Yes.
I do agree with what you're saying about the whole episode though, where she's like, I am their mother, protect child.
Hey Doctor, lock me in a box. You locked your female character in a box? Like, not figuratively, literally. Like, I also think it's really weird. So, kind of what you were alluding to, where it goes fucking off the rails. When we get into this new reality that's shifted slightly. I was thinking about this. Conrad's reality is this like 1950s perfect, harmonious place where we're under the impression that, I think Ruby says in the finale, he's given everybody a family. It's like married with a child. You could assume that a large population that's their reality now. Mm. I think as well Mel says that she's been turned into a housewife. Yeah. So like, you can assume that that's happened to a lot of women. They became like mother housewife characters.
Just paired people up.
Yeah. So we get into this shifted reality and Poppy's gone. That also means that all of these kids that were wished into existence are gone.
I also wonder if there weren't any more kids wished into existence.
Apart from Poppy?
Yeah.
Why? Why would that make sense?
I guess she's the significant one. Something to do with the Doctor being a Time Lord and that being stronger on his end.
I don't like that at all as an explanation. Oh God. But the fact that they rewrite reality to put into existence a child that only existed in a wish world and that completely undid this Belinda that we know to give her a child that she had for a few days, that being like the core of the episode, feels really fucking weird to me. And the fact that that's what makes the Doctor give his life up to save a theoretical child, I just think it's really fucking weird.
I think that speaks volumes to the Doctor's character.
But the person's not real.
Well, she is at the point that she is. As soon as she exists, she is real. I think that's the point.
But then every child in that wish world that was wished into existence would be real. Yeah. Also, I just think there's a really weird scene where Again, kind of alluding to me liking Ruby, I really enjoyed the Ruby solves this. Why does she solve it? Who knows? I remember, Doctor, why?
One of the worst things about that
Your
episode.
snow powers have just turned into a new one.
Yeah. The snow powers have evolved.
You're blonder now. You've evolved. Belinda says a line to, like, Shirley. Like, Shirley says something like, I can't have that reality again, like, you know, or that reality wasn't good for us, like, people were forgotten. The disabled, the queer, like, all these people. And Belinda, this, like, really interesting, self-assured person that we've seen, who's just been told by a random girl that she had a child, is like, I can't remember the line specifically that she says, but it's like, no, I have to do it for my child.
Something like, I don't care. You're not
Yeah.
taking away my child.
And I sat there in the cinema like, who is this character? There is no way that the character that we saw in the first 4 episodes would be like that.
It makes me wonder if she has all of them. She doesn't even have all the memories. I was going to say she has all the memories of having brought up that child, but she doesn't.
No, she has
couldn't remember
nothing
giving
at
birth
that
to the
point.
child.
Yeah. All she has is Ruby saying, you had a child. That's it.
Oh, you're talking about the sorry. You talking about the part where Ruby's reminding her of the fact that she has a child.
They're in unit, and Ruby is like, she exists, this child exists, and she's questioning everybody. Then it breaks through to Belinda. Can't actually remember why it breaks through to Belinda and the Doctor.
It's one of those things where she just keeps planting the seeds of doubt. So they keep, every time she says it, it's like coming back.
Oh, that's such great writing. Doubt.
Alright.
Dude, it's not good.
Well, the doubts, I think doubts are interesting.
No. Oh, okay, whatever. Why aren't the mugs smashing?
That's stupid.
Yeah, I just find that absolutely bizarre. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that this episode was reshot?
No.
Yeah.
That could make sense for the finale.
Yes. Chuty's final scene as well was in the unit building. It was not his regeneration, which makes me think that they rewrote the ending. Apparently,
Was this on the Unleashed or something?
no, I've consumed a lot of TikToks this
I
morning.
have sources.
But people are showing images of Susan. Is it Susan Foreman? Is that her real name?
And so her name is Susan Foreman in the when she's like pretending to go to school.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That woman
Yeah.
was being interviewed on the TARDIS, and she's in a completely different outfit to the flashbacks that we've seen.
Right.
So people are like, "Oh, there's something that has been omitted for sure." People were then saying there's rumors that, or not rumors. He was on the Graham Norton show at some point, and Chuty said that he was doing a 3rd season.
Huh.
But that was cut from the Graham Norton show. Weird. And then this, I genuinely don't know if this is real. I do want to dig into this a little more. Apparently the ending of this was that they were going to save everybody, and it was going to end with him in the club with Belinda and Ruby, and Susan was going to be watching them
In the club.
in the club, like one of his very first scenes.
Yeah, where he's in like with the tart and
Yeah. And there is an image, but I don't know if the image is real, of him and Belinda in the club.
I always wondered if he was going to end up back there for some reason, because like him just watching Ruby knowingly in Church on Ruby Road was just weird.
Yeah.
But obviously we're never getting answers to that.
No.
Him also, obviously they didn't just skipping forward to like the end where she did regenerate.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't credit Billy Piper as the Doctor.
Are we going right there? Okay.
And just in case, like what if Shruty's not done?
Oh, he is.
Like he's done.
On the Unleashed thing, they did the final call kind of wrap up.
So you have watched Unleashed?
Yeah.
Damn it.
He had time this morning. he was he gave like the speech that somebody would give on their last day of shooting. fuck, all over the map, but it's just come to my head. He doesn't say bye to Ruby. Which, whatever. My thoughts on Ruby, I don't give two shits. As the character of the Doctor not saying bye to a companion, has that ever happened? Like in the history of like New Who?
Would you
Like not going to like not having an emotional moment with the companion?
what as their final one?
Yeah.
They're not always like, but so Russell, I think, introduced that thing of like David Tennant going around and like looking at everyone to say goodbye to them and things. But like they're not always like happy endings and things.
Well, not necessarily happy, but there feels like a finale. There weirdly doesn't feel like a finale to Ruby to me.
I'm trying to think of an example of one that.
Amy and Rory, but you do get a finale.
Well, yeah, on their end.
Yeah. But there's still an element of the dot, like there's a feeling there. Like Clara, the same thing with the Raven.
Yeah, I suppose you don't. A lot of them because they don't have happy endings.
Yeah.
They're just gone. There's not a chance to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry with the whole it's been reshot thing. To me, I was like, oh, that's why the writing is so flaky, and it just doesn't feel like I cannot believe the ending that they gave Belinda. And I don't. We said this yesterday, but I don't know if it entirely makes sense because he picks her up in a flat accommodation. Like, she shares her house with people in the first episode, and here she's in a house, like her own house that has a back garden. Looks like a good house. It's probably in London. How are you affording that, Belinda?
No, I think that's fine. That doesn't bother me at all.
I think it's because you have to go like, it's not too.
It's a different reality. It's kind of it gives me Back to the Future vibes.
I hate it. Oh wow. Should we talk about I guess two big moments?
I think of one of I guess the Regeneration's one.
Yeah.
Alright, do you want to talk about the cameo?
Yeah.
The Jodie cameo.
Hey Jodie. Our cinema popped.
Yeah, it really did.
It was nice actually.
Yeah. I do think obviously the whole thing of her being there was flimsy and everything.
The time stream.
Yeah. I still liked the cameo. It was just like not necessary.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about it because it's not. I would sucker for like a double Doctor or whatever. It didn't need to be there, but I do like it as kind of passing or not passing torch, like almost like it's gonna be okay kind of thing. Just her presence being there, which is funny because she's from the past. Like he's the one that's got the foresight that everything's gonna be fine. But
yeah, I enjoyed her as well. It honestly reminded me of how much I enjoyed her. I know her episodes are kind of weak, but I enjoyed her as the Doctor. And I think her energy being in there was like, it's nice.
I did like her comment about like, why is it this big?
Yeah.
There's a room that...
Where's the crystals?
She does say something like that.
No, wait, no, she doesn't. No.
She does say
Maybe
something
she
like...
does.
No, she says you've redecorated, I don't like it, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, she does. But she delivers it so well. You've redecorated. I don't like it.
Yeah. Which is a regular thing. Because he did that in the 50th as well.
Yeah.
And then I think he maybe did it in like the 3 Doctors or the 5 Doctors or something.
Feels very weird for me. And this kind of links into the whole, my feelings on the regeneration. Why now?
That he's regenerating.
And why this cameo? Like, it's not a big anniversary or not like a big episode. It's just random. And I do wonder if it's one of these throw as much as at the wall as possible so that it gets renewed.
Could be.
I have no idea. Because I enjoyed it, but I was also like, And I said to you, they had a really cool dynamic for the 2 seconds they were there. Like, do an episode with them. Oh, it doesn't make sense. This didn't make sense. Like, yeah. I'm sure they could write some sort of shite that would make it make sense.
He didn't get like a speech at the end of his regeneration. He says something about joy.
If there was anybody I want to do this, I'd do it with you. And then the fucking star flashes. And I don't know if you heard us. We were fucking cracking.
I honestly didn't know what was happening until I heard you laugh. And then I was like, oh, it's the fucking
it's
joy
the star.
to the world
yeah.
star.
Nicola Coughlin's up there.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Crazy. Billy!
Billy back.
How do you feel?
I mean, I think she'll give like a wicked performance. I just don't know why it's happening.
Oh, the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't at all. I've seen so many people theorizing that like they had a shot of the TARDIS, so he looked into the heart of the TARDIS, and Rose was the last person to look into the heart of the TARDIS.
She was like headcanon's fine. Like I could easily do like headcanon it, but like I don't know if we'll get an explanation or whatever. Yeah, he did shoot regeneration energy directly into the TARDIS, and that's Bad Wolf or whatever, and she is Bad Wolf. Like it vaguely makes sense, but at the same time, it does not make sense.
I actually don't care if it makes sense or not. Like if they come up with a really cool explanation, I kind of don't care. Mm-hmm. It just screams like from a not a show point of view,
real world perspective.
It screams of desperation. It's very much RDJ's back as Doctor Doom. Like
it looked awful.
It looked horrendous.
Yeah, like the distant shots from the regeneration when I was like cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that very much again looked like they didn't know how to shoot the regeneration or something. And she pops back in and she has like that quirky line or whatever. But when she does that, it doesn't look like she's in the same space as Shruti.
What do you think the deal with her is?
Like how long she'll be back for?
Do you think she's the Doctor? Because as you were saying, they haven't credited her as that. How long will she be back for? What's the deal with the show?
So do I make predictions at this point? Is there like after the fucking last week? She is they could make her not the Doctor, but then I don't know if she is. And she's not coming back. She kind of has to be, because in my mind I was like, oh, what if body's been hijacked or something a little bit by the TARDIS, and that would explain Billy, and then he could revert, back to Shruti. But if that's not happening, then that's not happening. I think the show will continue. I just don't know in what form. And also, like, at this point, if we have to wait for it to get greenlit, and then they'll shoot, if they would have to do the pre-production, they probably end up shooting in like 2026, so like late 2026. That's a while away. I don't know how Disney would feel about continuing as well. I don't know how this is done for in the US.
I don't know why this was made.
For the US.
Why this deal was made.
Yeah.
This is not a new show. We were kind of saying this prior to watching the episode, but it now even feels more like that. You have Tennant going into Chuti, and then Chuti's era being so like classic Who continuations and stuff. Also some new Who stuff, and then the end just being like, oh, also Rose. Yeah. Oh, if you're only watching this, why would you get? I guess you just get excited because it's regeneration, but I feel like people haven't had enough time with Chuti to even get excited about that. So
I didn't believe he could regenerate because I don't think they've ever done it where they've, in my memory, where they've done a regeneration without announcing the Doctor beforehand.
Oh, have they not?
Because I knew Matt was coming, I knew Capaldi was coming, I knew Jodie was coming, I knew David Tennant was coming, I knew Shruti was coming.
Oh, wow.
And then I was too young to be paying attention when it was christened to David, but I imagine they probably said that beforehand as well.
Huh. I mean, it leaked. I knew somewhat before, but I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, we both thought that it was like a ridiculous rumour.
Yeah.
But, like I had said, that supposedly there was a leaked image for her as like a banner on Disney Plus or whatever. And so, I guess that banner does exist.
Wow.
Epic.
Yeah, I don't. I just feel so meh about it.
Are you going to watch? Obviously I will, but I'm assuming you're going to stop watching, or...
The show?
Yeah.
No.
I thought you were just done with it now.
No. I still... I've not enjoyed it, but I have, like... It's just, you know me, I watch shit even if I don't particularly like it, but at least with this, there's like some level of enjoyment. I don't know where that's coming from. I guess it's coming from talking with you, to be honest. But excited for this Land and the Sea show.
Yeah, they showed a little bit of that afterwards.
Can't believe I'm excited for that, actually.
Oh, you know what? I was throwing my hands up in the air like, what the fuck is happening when, before we watched Reality War, and we had Belinda come on screen and give us a rundown of what had happened in the previous episode.
Yeah.
I think last year it had been like Russell being like, thanks for being here. Like, I don't know if there was something before Wishworld because we weren't in to see.
I imagine no.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. But yeah, the formatting was different last year, and that message was like, why do we have this message?
Because we've just watched the episode. Honestly, I think that was like the actress being like, I've not enjoyed where my characters ended up, and they've held her at gunpoint, and they're like, you will say all the amazing things Belinda's done. She's like, the robot revolution, and
yeah,
all this. I met Ryland. I'm sure she said that.
That's fun.
But
yeah, sorry, the war between the land and the sea.
Yeah,
does look interesting.
It looks cool. Like, it looks more HBO leaning than BBC.
Oh, that's funny. I don't
Who's
get that vibe.
writing it?
I get very British drama vibe.
Oh, fair, yeah, but prestige.
Yeah, but
But
BBC,
British.
actual BBC. Like,
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm like,
Doctor Who's on
yeah,
BBC.
yeah.
But I'm thinking like, yeah, BBC One primetime show, which Doctor Who is somehow still.
Insane. I really like Russell Tovey as an actor. Somebody pointed out, and I completely forgot about this. He is in Doctor Who.
Yeah. He's Alonso.
Yeah. Do they explain that?
Probably not.
Yeah, cool.
I don't think that's when you need to explain.
Actually, sorry. They absolutely will not, because they didn't explain Belinda, who's their like main character. Shall I read out to you some of the questions I have?
Go for it.
I'm not even going to ask you, will these get answered? Because they haven't. Why could Rogue contact the Doctor?
Plot.
Yep. I thought intelligently, I think we spoke about this last week, that maybe it was Conrad making up, an illusion for the Doctor. No, okay. How did Rogue know the information to give the Doctor?
Plot.
I've just wrote, why was Susan?
Plot.
Plot, really? Because that wasn't resolved.
Well, I'm just plot reasons, like, just to keep things moving forward.
What are we gonna get? Rose Tyler being like, oh yeah, wait, remember those flashbacks I was getting when I was shooting at what?
Yeah, there's no reason for it to.
Insane. Belinda, descendant, why?
Plot. What is Belinda descendant? Sorry.
The descendant of Belinda. The whole point of him scanning her in the first episode, going,
Oh, was she? Oh, sure. Yeah.
I literally think the explanation for that is just, she is your great granddaughter.
I actually think it is, but I don't know why they made it such a big.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Also, the fact, I remember watching Unlimited episodes with you last year, and Russell was like, ooh, I wonder why Belinda has the same face. I guess that's something you'll have to find out. Why can Mrs. Flood speak to us?
Plot. That's not even plot. That's just get people in the real world interested in what's happening.
Sure. Why was Mrs. Flood wearing old companions' clothes? And no, don't say, oh, the Rani once wore Mel's clothes.
Well, that's the real world reason.
I hate this. Why could Ruby make it snow?
Funny.
There's more. That's all I had time to write down. But
oh, what an excellent show! It's just funny because you were talking about Belinda's descendant. We did that in the show, and it was fine because they just went, "This is why." They had Danny Pinkman's like great grandson or whatever.
Yep.
And they were like, "This is why it looks the same." They did it with Gwen Cooper and her great whatever that was in like Chris Ferguson's third episode. They were just like, she's a descendant. It's really clean, like, right off answer.
Yeah.
Of like just having strong genetics on one side of the family, and that causes that sort of thing. they tried to make it a mystery and then just didn't sell us the mystery.
You can't set up mysteries and then not fulfill them. Oh, do you know what I thought was really well shot? When when he shifts the time stream realities a degree and it all breaks into like glass. It's a cool effect. I was like, what's happening here? But when he lands onto like Belinda's back garden, that whole scene I thought was so beautifully shot.
What him speaking to Belinda and stuff?
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Okay.
It felt really glossy and whatever to me.
I felt like it was not as glossy as
okay.
interesting. Well, that was Doctor Who. Any more thoughts, Owen?
I look forward to where this show goes.
Okay. Are we getting a Christmas special?
I'm gonna say, oh shit, I don't know. Do you think they'd have that planned out? Do you think they have anything planned out?
No, I don't believe they have stuff planned out.
If they end up deciding yes, I think it's gonna be such a scramble. But then a low budget Christmas special could be nice.
I also wanted to ask, do you think that RTD's big long game plan is that Dr. Rose will, what are we calling her? Bad Wolf Doctor?
The baddie doctor.
Baddie Doctor. Do you think that she'll interact with David Tennant?
I hope not.
So do I, but I have a feeling that he's just in love with like the Tennant era and that's gonna happen. Somebody said like, what if they live out their lives together?
That's really weird.
Yeah, I know.
Two different doctors.
Yeah.
Because then you're just reducing someone to like their body image. Because he's not even 10. He's
14.
Yeah.
Does he regenerates into Chuty then?
No, I think he can regenerate into another doctor.
Okay. Bi-generation is literally the dumbest thing that this show has ever done, so
I really like it for serving the purpose of where we got at the end of the 60th specials.
Which was, what do you mean?
Which was finally having a version of him that can like actually settle down and sort of reflect on his whole life. Like there was finally a version of the Doctor that got to stop.
Okay. And
then you had, and that in real world reasons, you could still have a Doctor that would continue forward.
Yeah.
And still have a show out of that. And I thought that was really cool and a nice one-off. And it isn't a one-off.
Huh.
Also.
Yes.
The 14th Doctor and 15th, when he bi-generates, knows what bi-generation is.
Yeah.
Shruti mentions it when Jodie's there, and she goes, "By what?" She doesn't know what bi-generation is.
Yeah.
So she must learn that information at some point.
Yeah. Instead of confessing her love to Yaz, she goes, bisexual. Oh, bi-generation?
She goes to her TARDIS and goes, bi-generation.
Yeah, she just says it. She's like, I'm having feelings for a girl. You're looking for bi-generation.
Autocorrect.
Oh, I guess I'm not bisexual then. Right, whatever, at least it's done. Anything else?
What question did you write down there?
Who's the boss?
I was going to say, because like, now, I thought, I kind of forgot that was the thing.
Yeah, the golden tooth shit.
And,
That's when you that's what made me...
And so I thought we were going to get an answer to like, the season 2 finale person was the boss.
Mm-hmm.
We still haven't met the boss.
Yeah.
So we're going to have been talking with the boss for 3 different doctors.
Yeah.
Which, had it been a fun run of television, I think would have been a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
But instead, it's just kind of like, does he know what the boss is?
Who knows at this point? Do you prefer this season or the previous season?
This season, I think, still.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so. Last season had Rogue, though.
Yeah. It also had Space Pippies. Did you think that this finale or last finale was better?
I think this one. I think it's more interesting stuff. I think the last one was more cohesive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It was named after a road.
Never mind.
I actually agree though. I think last episode was more cohesive.
Yeah. Last season.
Season.
And last episode. The one
Well, yeah,
previous
because
to
nothing
one just
happened.
watched. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Well, that's Dot 2 done. No more Dot 2 talk. Until I guess, when the land of the sea drops, will we be talking about that?
That's up to you. Why don't we'll watch like,
That's up to me.
as in like I'll always be down to talk about it probably,
Okay.
but I think we can make that decision after we've watched like one episode of it,
Yeah.
and we'll decide
See
what
if
the
it's
quality
worthy.
of the show's gonna
Yeah,
be like.
that's true.
Yeah.
It's been fun talking about a show that's actually been pants, though. Yay! Come at me in the TikTok comments.
You got to clip that,
Absolutely not.
please.
No, the people who are there will be like, oh, so negative again.
I'm clipping all this.
Well, you're going to steal the footage from me.
I will have.
Oh, you
footage.
all... Yeah, never mind. Anyway, you're done with Dot 2?
Not completely.
Oh, no. Oh,
No, I am, and I'm done talking about it.
lovely.
Question:
Whoa.
Are we going to acknowledge the fact that we're recording this after the fact or no?
Do you want to?
It's funny.
Okay.
We're recording this after the fact.
Do I keep that in?
Yeah, we forgot to the question, so now we're back to the question.
Yay.
Our question. I
Oh.
do think I was told that this was a good question to tie in with this week, but we'll see, I guess.
Judging.
Oh, in celebration of Pride Month, what film, TV show would be better if it had gay?
Sorry, had gay.
Yeah,
Lovely.
like had gay.
Lovely.
What about a film show that could be gayer, using gay as an umbrella term? Rainbow.
Yeah. What?
What would be better if it had gay? What needs gay?
I'm trying to think of instances where it's like, oh, these characters should end up together, but they don't because for whatever reasons. I feel like there's tons of instances of that.
Alright, Doctor Who, but Jodie's here.
Well, there you go, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to retroactively stop that. What specific... that's so... I'm trying to think of then, like, people that, like, get shipped together. But then, like, never end up together because...
Oh, I guess Star Wars, like The Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely.
With Finn and Poe.
Yes. That's a really easy answer, yeah. Would it have made those sequels better? I don't know.
I just made like...
Actually, yeah. Because in the last, the Rise of Skywalker, you omit the random love interests that they're both given.
Right, so you could develop theirs more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good answer. I feel like there could just do with more, like, variety of shit. Not necessarily something specific that has to be made. That changed.
No, we're making a show gayer. Our film.
Show? I didn't even think about TV shows. The Flash.
Really?
No. Projecting. I don't know. That's very difficult, actually. Do you have a show that you'd be like, oh, I want to see these people, but gay?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know what... No.
Oh, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Marvel in general.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Like these like big franchises that are missing. Kind of like diversity,
Sure.
for lack of a better word.
Yeah. So just have a pocket of them that is just like not blokey.
That's not the word I'd use to describe it anyway, but sure.
I think when you like look at Marvel very wide, it's very like with a wide lens, it's very just like almost like militarized in some way.
Mm.
At least like Phase 1 definitely was that. I know we're very far from that now,
Yeah.
but like a lot of it just is like the
Yes.
US military.
Yes. Absolutely.
So
like a way out of that. I don't know. I'm looking.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
And who would be gay?
I'm not talking about like as it was. Like I just mean like have a gay Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a show called Our Flag Means Death,
Right.
which was I don't know if Taika Waititi wrote it or was attached to it or something, but he stars in it as Blackbeard, and I can't remember the name. He's like a New Zealand actor, like really big. He's in a lot of comedies. They too like played like lovers. It was pretty fun. So if it was something like that. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing that like screams out to me that I'm like, oh, that needed to be gay.
Yeah, never come out with something I'm like, damn, that wasn't gay enough.
I honestly, I think because like I'm not watching it with that lens. Like, oh, I'll watch a queer thing instead of
Yeah.
something that's not queer and wish it was queer.
Yeah.
This is so annoying because something will come up eventually and I'll think of it and I'll be like, oh shit, but
Just retroactively just type it in the bottom corner while you're editing.
I just do a voiceover like, hello.
A freeze frame with a voiceover.
Hi, this is Jack.
Want to play a game?
Yeah, I don't. Game of Thrones could have been gayer as well.
Sure.
IMO. Because you have like 2 gay characters in that.
Who are the two?
Loras Tyrell and Oliver. The what would you call him? A prostitute. Do you remember Tyrell? Like he's
the brother, and he ends up part of the Sept or whatever. Yeah. You're also forgetting Oberyn Martell.
Yeah.
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 How dare you? And then also, was there not another character later on as well?
Who? There are scenes where women are together, but I don't know if it's like explicitly queer. There is. She's from, this. Oh my god, the woman who has like the ships and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think there are people scattered throughout.
Never focal points.
Never, no.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode, people. Totu's finally done, so we don't have to suffer anymore. I think we're also done with TV for a little bit because we're properly entering blockbuster season. So next week we'll be talking about Karate Kid Legends, which I don't know if you want to speak a bit about Cobra Kai and stuff, like because
next week
that came out recently, yeah.
Yeah, it finished in like February of this year.
Right. Okay.
I'll probably briefly
yeah, it might end up because I have absolutely zero affiliation
knowledge.
with the franchise. And we'll be talking about the latest in the John Wick franchise, Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas, which jury's out, but I'm kind of excited for, just because it got some good reviews, but who knows. So join us as we enter blockbuster season.
Whoa.
Bye.